Kamigawa Neon Dynasty has just experienced another leak, and this seems to be happening with regularity when it comes to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, which leads to a very obvious question. If Kamigawa is supposed to be this futuristic, technology-filled world, why don't they have any plumbers to take care of these leaks?
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for the delightful experience of taking a look not only at the newest Kamigawa leak, but also officially released images. Today, Wizards of the Coast just dropped a whole new batch of images that give us an idea of what's going on in Kamigawa on top of the leak. But obviously, having a full card to talk about is the most exciting thing to do. So let's start out by taking a look at this leak. And this is a super fresh leak. This card basically got leaked about 5 minutes after Wizards published all these new images. Okay, so up on the screen, you're going to see Gora, Disciple of Ryusai. And this is a legendary Goblin samurai. Now again, these leaks have very poor image quality, so we're not really going to get to delve into every single aspect of the card, but rest assured, after we're done looking at ugly leak action, I will show you beautiful high-resolution images of other artwork from Kamigawa. So, back to Gora. This guy is connected to the red legendary dragon from the original Kamigawa block. So, 2 mana gets you a 2/2. He has the ability 1 red, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn, and 2 red and 3 create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Activate only if you control a attacking modified creature. So, right out the gates, this is a pretty crazy card. I mean, the fact that it's legendary, I guess, somewhat helps to rein it in, but at the same time, it also kind of makes it more useful for people playing Commander. I think what's going on here is that we have a Goblin Samurai that has somehow been infused with part of the Spirit Dragon Ryusai. And that second ability, the first ability, 1 red mana, just give all your dudes haste, is really solid. A lot of things that'll give your other guys haste will either only pick 1 creature, or it will require tapping, or a combination of both. This is just 1 red mana. Everybody who came out this turn can now swing. That is a very solid ability. The token generating ability is also incredibly powerful. You have to understand that it is not difficult to modify a creature. All you have to do is equip it, or put an enchantment on it, or put a counter on it. So a +1/+1 counter, anything like that means the creature's modified. You now meet the conditions of this card. If you can just put 1+1/+1 counter, or a first strike counter, any kind of counter at all on Gora, then you can start to generate 5 mana for 5/5 flying tokens. And you're not creating legendary tokens, right? You're creating, I don't know, maybe after images, baby versions of Ryusei that are still 5/5, like after images of him. I don't know if this is supposed to be like kind of along the lines of like Kiki Jiki back in the day could make copies of people. Is this like maybe a Goblin descendant of Kiki Jiki that now has the ability and has somehow like made a pact with the spirit of Ryusei? I really want to know what's going on here with the spirits and their connections to people. Are we dealing with like a Final Fantasy VII style world where the spirits have kind of been turned into like power sources for a technologically advanced civilization, the Adala burst kind of stuff? Do you know what I mean? If you get that reference, depends if you've seen the show I'm talking about. But anyways, the situation is one where there's some really cool flavor behind this, but also it seems really strong that all you have to do is be swinging with this guy, and you can make as many dragon tokens as you have enough mana for. Like, that ability isn't restricted to once a turn. Clearly, it's not sorcery speed because you have to use it during the combat phase. So it is restricted to only being usable during the combat phase. But the crazy thing too is it doesn't require that Goro be attacking, right? Goro can basically just be chilling out and going, hey, somebody else going. You can just swing with anything that has a +1/+1 counter, and boom, you meet the conditions, you start making these dragon tokens. Like, to me, this seems like a really, really strong card. And are we going to see a disciple of every single one of those dragons? And when I see disciple, I think like there may be multiple disciples of a dragon, but the way they're doing it with this legendary creature, maybe each dragon just has one particular disciple that carries on their spirit. It's a really cool concept. This seems like a very strong card to me, although I will admit that the card they made, the Dragonkin Berserker or whatever it was, where they went ahead and made that, and it made dragon tokens, that one didn't turn out to be as crazy as I thought it would be. But I just feel like the conditions are so easy to meet with this, and he doesn't have to attack, whereas the other guy had to be the one who was directly attacking. And I genuinely feel like that makes a significant difference. But overall, there is a lot kind of stapled into this package for 2 mana. I love the fact that he's a Goblin Samurai. I can't recall if there were any Goblin Samurais in the original Kamigawa, but I don't think there were. I think the Samurais were limited to humans and ogres, maybe? I'm not 100% sure on that. I didn't really go back and like do a deep dive to try and figure out, because I was already excited to talk about all the new images, and then this leak showed up right at the last second. It wasn't even originally going to be included in this video, but it did show up and I wanted to talk about it. So now that we've done that, let's start taking a look at the beautiful artwork that we have been shown for the new set. I'm going to show you, first of all, these like locations that they have set up, right? Take a look at this. You've got 4 different spots, obviously keyed into different elements, right? You've got your blue, you got your red, you got your green, you got your black. We've already seen the white location when I did a previous leak video. If you didn't know, I have a whole leak playlist and spoiler playlist. So if you want to know every single card that's already been released from this set, at the end of the video on the screen, I will leave that playlist for you. But you can see that these art, like the art for these different places, they look fantastic. And I really have to hand it to Wizards of the Coast, because if you're a longtime viewer of the channel, you may recall that about mid-2020 or whatever, I did a video saying Kamigawa Neon Dynasty was coming, talking about what I expected, and pretty much expressing that I was not going to be very happy overall with the underlying flavor. But I have to admit that so far, I have not seen much that is jarring to me, although we do have one image to look at today that I find to be absolutely goofy. It's going to be one of those things that some people are going to be like, oh yeah, and other people are going to be like, oh no, get that out of here. But anyways, that's the original setup for the different locations. Let's take a look at another set of location style concept art. This one is just showing like different buildings and side shots and whatever. It's not particularly showing specific geographical locations that we're already familiar with. It's just here's a range of different stuff. I like these cross-section sort of things where you get a little bit of a taste of this, a little bit of a taste of this. They only had it up on the screen for a moment, so I had to go and screen capture it and actually sit down and look at it. But ultimately, I like this. It doesn't feel too futuristic. It doesn't feel too outside of Magic. Now, let's start to take a look at particular card artwork. So here is some kind of crazy, like, gas mask ogre oni samurai with a crazy glass sword coming down from the sky. I'm not sure. It looks like he's trying to be all stealthy, but I feel like having that pink kind of, it fits for the tone of the set in terms of the color scheme, but I feel like it makes you a little more obvious. Like if you're trying to be stealthy, isn't that kind of working against it? Although I'm not sure if this guy's supposed to be a ninja or a samurai. I'm kind of actually getting more of a samurai vibe. Maybe what's happening here is he's charging down the street as opposed to trying to creep, and I'm just reading it wrong, right? I don't know. There's a lot of different stuff going on. Take a look at this crazy banner and Buddy's sword here. You've got this like yellow holographic image banner, which, I mean, on one hand you can go, hey, that's technologically made, but you could also see something like that as ethereal magic. So again, this is an instance where we're not moving too far outside of my like comfort zone in terms of what I like, right? So you got this kitsune here who is just kind of standing in the street. I don't know, maybe some kind of like guard or whatever, but I believe that the type of blade that they're wielding is actually shown in use in the next piece of artwork we're going to take a look at, this one is really funky. You have two figures that are caught in a like rooftop battle, right? They could be down in some kind of alley, but they're leaping from rooftop to rooftop. So this sort of like encounter they're having could be taking place with the regular denizens of the city having absolutely no idea. Below them in the street, there could be revelers involved in a festival or just regular business taking place. And up on the rooftop, you have these agile beings that are leaping back and forth in this heated battle. And as I said, that yellow sword we saw in the previous artwork, it looks very much like the character in the background is wielding a similar sort of blade. And you've got these crazy like ribbons of kanji flowing outwards, which makes me wonder, is this sort of like a binding blade? Is this a like law keeper? Is this somebody who maintains order in Kamigawa, and basically they're there going, okay, I send these sort of like strips out and they bind up, you know what I mean? They could like basically circle around and trap somebody up with inside of them. And then you can see that whoever this is facing off against presumably some sort of Nezumi Ratman ninja. I definitely like the energy of this artwork. I like what's going on with it. And we have another piece of like crazy looking rat ninja, or maybe rat samurai artwork. I don't know. He looks pretty heavily armored. He's charging down. That purple energy that's flowing around him looks absolutely awesome. Like this is some really gorgeous artwork, and it doesn't really feel to me like a mechanized soldier. It feels to me like a rat soldier who is just in a thick amount of armor, and I can get down with that. I like seeing these like races that we haven't seen in a while come back. So we also have the Soratami making a return. And the Soratami, when you look at the artwork here, you can see multiple of these moonfolk. I love the moonfolk. I think they're really, really cool. These rabbit people who live up in the sky above Kamigawa and are like, you know, valuing knowledge. And they're also, because they live above everybody, they kind of get like snooty and aloof. It's the kind of thing you would expect. But they do actually have some technology here, and you can see it in the form of the butterflies that are around them. These are like techno butterflies. And I like this because, again, it's not too much in your face with the technology. It's a little more subtle, and I really like the whole butterfly concept tied specifically to the Soratami, because butterflies are like kind of airy and above it all. It gives that same kind of concept where it's like we're beautiful and proud, we like float above the world in a carefree sort of way. It helps to emphasize the Soratami sort of like dominant mentality, at least to me. I like that as a nice little added touch. The next thing we're going to look at is a samurai that has like a mechanical hound here. Again, I really do have to say, I am quite pleased that the majority of cards that I'm seeing stay within just the right bounds for me to be all right with them. I really did think this set was going to go way out in left field and be like super like Shadowrun cyberpunk high tech, and I really was not prepared for that. So to see that I get this sort of stuff that I can genuinely enjoy without much of a problem is sweet for me, but there is one glaring difference. The next card I'm about to show you right now, let's put it up on the screen. This is an example of stuff that I personally, I can't, this is a bridge too far for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you like this stuff, that's okay. If you think the idea of like, they've got this DJ in Kamigawa and, you know, yeah, I got this cool DJ dubstep card, and it's like, this is the kind of stuff that I didn't really want to see. This is the kind of stuff that I was expecting Kamigawa to predominantly be. When I actually saw this artwork, my first thought was, wait a minute, is this from that Arcane secret lair? Or is this from a Fortnite secret lair or something? Like, when like I had kind of zoned out for a second in the video, and so I had to back it up, and I'm like, oh, this is a DJ. This is a DJ in Kamigawa. Oh. And I looked at it and went, oh no. Like I dislike everything about it. I dislike the concept of a DJ. I dislike the gonna scratch the records with these big dumb metal gauntlets with stupid like flames shooting out of the shoulders. I do have to admit, that a lot of shows nowadays that you go to, the people do have big dumb things on their head, and it's all kinds of lights and stuff because, well, you know, people have probably put certain things into their bodies before they went to that show and they enjoy seeing stuff like that. But for me, this is the exact kind of stuff that, like, pulls me so far out of Magic the Gathering. Like, I'm a planeswalker. I've traveled the multiverse looking for crazy powerful beasts. I summon up the Dragon of Devastation and Doom. This dragon has swallowed countless civilizations. I will lay waste to you and all your loved ones. Oh yeah? I summon up DJ Dubstep. All right, DJ, scritch at him. Skitch, 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 skitch. No, my dragon's falling from the sky. The doom of worlds has been destroyed by DJ Squitch, squitch, squitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot of stuff in Magic where you go, hey, it's Magic. You got a suspension of disbelief or whatever else. But this, I already thought, like, the Strixhaven dancing people were kind of goofy, but this is too much for me, guys. But that's just me, right? If you like it, you're more than welcome to enjoy yourself, right? It means you get to enjoy it more than me. But anyhow, I'm wrapping it up. Big thank you to all of my patrons for supporting my channel. I'm going to leave a link to the playlist of all of my spoiler videos for Kamigawa, the leaks, the spoilers. Check them out, enjoy them, and I will see you, my friends, in the next video.